"You're not marriage material like he is. He actually wants commitment," she said while I had the ring in my pocket. So I returned the ring and moved out without a word. Now he used her to get promoted, then dumped and fired her. And she's watching me build the life she thought she deserved. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. 3 years. 3 years of what I thought was building something real with Melissa. I'm a software developer, 28, nothing flashy but stable. Good income, my own place, the kind of guy who shows up when he says he will. For 2 months, I'd been hiding an engagement ring in my sock drawer. Princess cut solitaire, 8 months of savings. I was planning to propose on our 3-year anniversary, dinner at our first date spot, then the lake where she'd told me she loved me. Then Derek happened. Derek was Melissa's new co-worker. 31, BMW, expensive suits. Within 2 weeks of him starting, everything changed. Melissa had grown up in a trailer park, something she'd confided in me during our 2nd year together, tears in her eyes as she talked about wearing Goodwill clothes to school. She used to say she just wanted to feel safe. I didn't realize how much that meant wealthy. She'd clawed her way to a marketing job, and I admired her drive. But Derek represented everything she'd convinced herself she needed to prove she'd made it. The comparisons started immediately. "Derek just bought a house," she said over dinner one night. "Cash down payment. Must be nice to have that kind of security. We could start looking at houses," I offered. "I've been saving. On your salary?" "Jake, be realistic." That stung. I made decent money, but Derek was some hotshot consultant pulling twice my income. 2 weeks later, Derek's taking the team to that new steakhouse downtown for the Morrison account celebration. The one with the $200 per person menu. Sounds expensive. Some people understand that image matters in business. The way she said it made me feel like I was missing something fundamental about life. I caught her looking at Derek's Instagram posts. The BMW, the expensive watch, photos from exclusive restaurants. Sometimes she'd show me his stories with this wistful expression, like she was watching a life she wanted to live. The breaking point came on a Thursday. I'd surprised her with tickets to see her favorite band, tickets that had cost me a week's worth of lunches. She barely looked at them. "Derek got promoted today. His team is going to celebrate at that rooftop bar downtown. The one that's $200 just to get in the door? It's called networking, Jake. Some people understand that investments pay off." I felt something cold settle in my stomach. "So you'd rather drink overpriced cocktails with Derek than see the band you've talked about for months?" Her expression shifted, and suddenly I was looking at a stranger. "Maybe that's exactly what I'd rather do," she said. "Derek thinks big, plans big. You think about code and Netflix and staying home every weekend like we're retired. I thought you liked our quiet nights." I settled for them, Jake. "There's a difference." The ring box in my jacket pocket felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. "Derek can give you something I can't." She smiled, cruel and certain. "Derek bought a house last month. Cash. He's expanding into international markets, talking about offices in New York and London. He sees possibilities. And I don't. You see your next coding project and your next paycheck. You've been in the same position for 2 years, same apartment, same everything. You're comfortable with small, Jake. You're not marriage material like he is." Those words hit like a physical blow. Marriage material. Like I was defective. I could have told her about the ring, about the promotion I'd been offered, about the down payment I'd already saved. Instead, I stood up and walked to the door. "If that's how you feel, then you should be with him." She looked genuinely surprised, like she'd expected me to fight harder. For a split second, I saw something flicker across her face. Doubt, maybe even panic. But then her chin went up in that stubborn way I used to find attractive. "That's it. You're not going to try? Why would I convince someone to want me, Melissa? If Derek's your choice, go make it." "Fine," she said. "Maybe I will." After she left, I sat staring at that ring box until 3 a.m. All those months of planning. I'd been so sure she'd say yes. The next morning, I returned the ring and did something I'd never done before. I disappeared. I didn't just mean metaphorically. I took 2 weeks of vacation time, found a sublet across town, and moved my entire life while she was at work. Left my key on the counter with a note. "Hope you find what you're looking for." I blocked her number and unfriended her on everything. Well, almost everything. I kept her Instagram unblocked for exactly 1 day, scrolling through her stories like picking at a scab. She'd already posted a photo with Derek. Finally found someone who knows what he wants, 2 hearts. And I stared at it for longer than I want to admit before finally hitting block. I told our mutual friends I didn't want updates and deleted her contact information. When I came back to work, I accepted that promotion, senior developer position that came with a 40% raise and the option to work remotely. Within a month, I was essentially living a completely different life in a different part of the city. 2 weeks after I moved, my friend Mark called. "Dude, Melissa's been asking everyone where you went. She seems kind of panicked. Not my problem anymore. She posted about Derek on Instagram. Called him a real man who knows what he wants. Good for her." Mark was quiet for a moment. "You're really done, aren't you?" "Completely." And I was. The first few nights in my new place, I'd felt this raw, hollow ache. Not just missing her, but mourning the future I'd planned. But by week 2, something shifted. I wasn't angry anymore. I was relieved. The woman who could discard 3 years that easily wasn't someone I wanted to marry anyway. 6 months later, Mark called with news. They were engaged. I was in my new apartment, which I'd actually grown to love, better neighborhood, closer to work, space for the home office I'd always wanted. "That's nice," I said, and meant it. The ring is huge, apparently. She posted it with some caption about finally finding someone who knows what I deserve. Hope they're happy together. And I genuinely did. I'd started seeing someone, Sarah, a UX designer from my new team. She was brilliant and funny and had this way of getting genuinely excited about my projects that made me remember why I loved what I did. She also made terrible puns that should have been annoying, but somehow weren't. The wedding was 8 months later. Country club affair, from what I heard through the grapevine. Melissa posted constantly about her perfect day and perfect husband who treats a woman right. I was happy for her. Really, if Derek was what she needed to feel complete, then she deserved to have that. But Derek wasn't who Melissa thought he was. The first crack appeared about 6 months after the wedding. I was having coffee with Sarah when my phone buzzed, unknown number. "Jake, it's Melissa. I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from, but I need to talk to you. Please." Sarah raised an eyebrow when I showed her. "Your ex?" My thumb hovered over the keyboard for a long moment. I started typing, "What's wrong?" Then deleted it. Started again, "I hope you're okay." Deleted that too. Finally put the phone face down on the table. "Nothing to say," I told Sarah. But the messages kept coming. Different numbers, friends' phones, even social media accounts I hadn't blocked yet. I made a terrible mistake. Derek isn't who I thought he was. I should never have left you. Please, just call me back. Once, through our mutual friends, I heard pieces of the story. Derek had become controlling after the wedding. Isolated her from friends, monitored her spending, made her quit her job because he preferred her available. The international business expansion was apparently fantasy. He was leveraging himself to the eyeballs and using her credit to cover shortfalls. Then came the affairs. Multiple women, some of them her former co-workers. He wasn't even trying to hide it. "She looks terrible," Lisa told me at a birthday party. "Lost like 20 pounds, won't talk to anyone. I think he's been messing with her head." "That sucks," I said, and I meant it the way you mean it when someone tells you their car got stolen. Bad thing happening to someone you used to know. Don't you feel vindicated at all? She treated you like garbage and now she's learning that grass isn't always greener. That doesn't make me feel good, Lisa. It just makes me feel like I dodged a bullet. The divorce was messy. Prenup left her with almost nothing. She lost the house, the car, even got blacklisted from several firms when Derek spread rumors about her being unstable. She moved back in with her sister, broke and humiliated. Meanwhile, Sarah and I got engaged. Nothing dramatic, just us at home after dinner, talking about the future we wanted to build. When I proposed, she made a joke about my engagement puns being better than my regular ones, which made me laugh so hard I almost dropped the ring. I posted one photo, our hands, her ring, simple caption with the date. Within an hour, congratulations were pouring in. But buried in the notifications was a message from another unknown number. "Congratulations. She looks lovely. I hope you're happy." For some reason, I replied, "Thank you." 2 weeks later, Sarah and I were at our friend Dave's wedding when I saw her. Melissa looked broken. That was the only word. Always petite. Now she looked fragile, like she might blow away. The confidence that used to radiate from her was gone, replaced by something that looked like permanent apology. She was standing alone by the bar when she spotted me. Her face went through surprise, hope, panic. Jake! Melissa! You look. She studied my face like she was trying to memorize it. You look really good. Happy. Thanks. I saw the announcement. Your fiancé is beautiful. I glanced across the room where Sarah was laughing with Dave's family. She is. I need to tell you something. Her voice was barely above a whisper. About Derek. About what happened between us. Melissa, he told me after the wedding why he really pursued me. Years ago, when he first started at the company, before I even knew you existed, I turned him down when he asked me out. He never forgot that. Maybe he didn't plan the whole thing from the start, but once he had me, her voice broke. He made me pay for every slight, real or imagined. He used everything I'd told him about growing up poor, about wanting security. He knew exactly how to make me feel small again. I stared at her. That was genuinely twisted, but looking at her hollow eyes, I realized it was probably true. Derek had always struck me as the type who couldn't handle rejection. I'm sorry that happened to you, I said. That's genuinely awful. I threw away everything real for a lie. She was crying now, quietly. You were everything he pretended to be. I keep waking up thinking it's still us. The pain in her voice was raw, immediate. Melissa, I said as gently as I could, what happened with Derek doesn't change what happened with us. You didn't leave me because Derek manipulated you. You left because you thought I wasn't good enough. I was wrong, maybe, but you believed it at the time. And you made me feel like I was lacking something fundamental, that I was small, unambitious. I paused, the words still sharp after all this time. That I wasn't marriage material. She flinched like I'd slapped her. I didn't mean it. What I said, about you not being marriage material. You were right, I said quietly. Just not in the way you thought. Sarah appeared beside me then, sliding her arm through mine naturally. Hey babe, I was wondering where you'd gone. She smiled at Melissa with polite curiosity. Hi, I'm Sarah. Melissa. Oh, Sarah's face brightened. Jake's mentioned you. Nice to finally meet you. Congratulations on your engagement, Melissa managed. Thank you. We're so excited. Jake proposed with the most incredible ring. He has amazing taste. Sarah held up her hand, then looked at me with such genuine love that I felt something warm settle in my chest. Though I have to admit, his proposal puns were even worse than his regular ones. The same expression I used to wear when I looked at Melissa. Except Sarah actually deserved it. It's beautiful, Melissa whispered, voice breaking. We should get back, I said. Take care, Melissa. As we walked away, Melissa called after me. Jake, are you happy? I turned back to look at her, standing alone in a dress that hung too loose, mascara smudged, everything about her screaming that life had beaten her down. Yes, I am, I said. Later that night, as we got ready for bed, Sarah brought it up. She seemed really broken up about losing you. Sometimes people don't realize what they have until it's gone. Do you feel bad for her? I considered it honestly. I feel bad that she's having a hard time, but I don't feel responsible for her choices. She threw away something real for something that looked shinier. That's on her. Sarah nodded, brushing her teeth. Good thing she did, though. Otherwise, you never would have been available when I came along. Best thing that ever happened to me. I agreed. And I meant it. If Melissa hadn't left, I never would have met Sarah. Never would have learned the difference between someone who loves you and someone who settles for you until something better comes along. 3 months later, Sarah and I got married. Small ceremony, family, and close friends. No drama, no social media announcements about upgrades or real men. Just two people who'd found each other and decided to build something together. Sarah never asked me to be anything other than exactly who I was. She thought my coding projects were fascinating, loved our quiet nights in, got excited about the small, steady future we were building together. She even laughed at my terrible puns, and somehow made even worse ones in return. We bought a house 6 months later. Nothing flashy, but it's ours. We're talking about kids, maybe a dog first. Normal, quiet dreams that feel enormous when you're sharing them with someone who actually wants to be there. Melissa was right about one thing. I wasn't marriage material. For her. But I was exactly what Sarah needed. And that's the only opinion that ever mattered. I never heard from Melissa again. According to the rumor mill, she eventually moved to a different state, started over somewhere fresh. I hope she found whatever she was really looking for. I hope she learned to value the right things. But honestly, I don't think about her much anymore. When you're with the right person, the past stops mattering. And suddenly, the future feels like home. Thanks for watching.